welcome back to another episode. Another episode. You're watching us on Facebook Live, you get that. Of AFC Northerners, episode 65.
65.4.
I'll get the intro started.
65.4.
Yeah, the new and improved. I'm Marc Herman, a.k.a. LA Bengal fan on Twitter, repping the Bengals.
Dave Green, Brown Sky. And I would like to thank Lonnie for filling in for me.
Yeah, Lonnie!
Thank you.
Not just back, better.
Yeah,
Dave 2.0.
Hopefully.
Jan Davis Utar, Baltimore Ravens.
Chris Atkins, Pittsburgh Steelers, and AFC Northerner Wombats.
All right, so I know we don't have a lot of news, so I'm forced to talk about the Pro Bowl. Dalton Whitworth.
Did that happen?
Yeah, he actually played it.
Oh, man.
Dalton Whitworth, Dunlap, and Atkins all represented well, and I'm very happy to say nobody got hurt. So, and 10 of the 20 points scored by the AFC was scored on Dalton's watch.
Did anybody get hurt in the Pro Bowl this
I don't
year?
think so.
I don't think so.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
So, and some of the Reddit topics that have been bouncing around on the internet, they'll talk about whether we take a flyer on Mixon. I say absolutely not. If you need any reason why, just put in Mixon punch and see what he did to that girl's face when he broke her 6 bones. Dude. And how nonchalant he was about leaving. I hope he's off everybody's boards. That was clearly not the first time he'd punched a woman. Yeah, it's just
like the fourth or fifth time.
So casual. Call clocks and just walks out.
Yeah, dude, like.
Not run, nothing. So hopefully he's off everybody's boards, and then talk about whether Marvin Lewis should get an extension. The only positive for it would be if you didn't want it coming up during the season. Maybe give him an extension with an escape hatch, so you can still fire him at the end of the year.
I say let him sit on the hot seat. Like
I don't know that he feels it's a hot seat, but you're talking about the second longest tenured coach. Well, yeah. So,
All right, well...
that's it for Bengal news. What do you got, Brownie?
All right, let's start with today's action. Tremont Williams was cut, and McCown was cut.
Which is good for McCown.
Which is good, yeah. It's we talked about this. It's that's the team doing him a favor. He's now available to sign wherever he wants.
Oh, I'm going to start with Tremont, and I think the Tremont cut was a direct result of us signing Powell, the safety out of Seattle.
Yeah.
I think he became expendable, and I think he's probably a step or two too slow. The McCown cut, though, is an interesting cut, because like Marc just said, I have an underlying idea, though. We brought in Jeff Garcia a couple days ago and interviewed him for the quarterback's coach position. That's not a go. They're not going to bring him on board for that. If McCown is unable to sign with another team, I'm wondering if he will go into retirement and then come back to coach us as the quarterback coach. Just a thought.
Would you want that?
Why not? Why not?
Because it's McCown?
No, because he has moxie. He shows veteran leadership. Things that you want.
Moxie.
Well, there are things that you want.
It means
No, it does.
Unlike,
It does. I just love the word moxie. The word moxie.
To be honest with you, most of the other coaches are hired already.
Yeah.
Right. So who's left?
So I can see that actually. That may be something at play right there. Other news, Hayden supposedly had a surgery on both the groins. I haven't heard anything as to whether or not that was successful. And
Both the groins?
yeah,
You've got two
Wow.
sets of. Yeah, wow.
Jesus.
very, very...
That is a manly
What do you
man.
rip him doing squats or something?
I have no idea even how the dude injured it. He played like the last
Usually
3
don't injure
games of the
both.
season like that. It was just kind of mind-boggling to me. A little bit more Browns news. We still haven't gotten Pryor under contract, so we're looking to get that done. And a lot of questions surrounding whether or not we're going to be able to re-sign Crowell, or if we do want to re-sign Crowell. So we'll see how that goes. That's pretty much what we got right now.
Pryor needs to come home.
I don't see that. I honestly see if anything
From the
happens
team
with
that-
Pryor, we franchise tag the guy and let him do another year at wide receiver and see if he's actually as legit as the 77 catches say he is.
Yeah.
So
You have enough places you need to spend money. You don't even know if you can afford Bell. So
Yeah.
So you can't be
Well, it says
setting your
16
sights
million
on.
for
Bell to
Pryor.
Cleveland, Pryor to Pittsburgh. All right, done deal.
Good on Browns?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, cool.
Dirty bird.
So
What do you
yeah,
got?
Ravens don't have a lot going on. I mean, other than like the news of like, Steve Smith signed a 5-year NFL Network contract.
Yes!
Good for you.
We don't have to cover Steve Smith anymore. Enjoy your job in the booth. Love you, guy. Thank you. Thank you.
Also, like, shout out to to Ronnie Stanley for saying that like Tom Brady should go ahead and just retire now that he's officially the GOAT.
He ain't gonna retire. No.
And I mean, honestly, like most of it's going to be in the season recap. There's just not a lot of news for Ravens, so I'll pass it off to Steelers.
Steelers news. Let go of Justin Gilbert just yesterday.
Loser.
Yeah.
Just wasn't working out for us. Sammy Coates, he's already gone ahead and had surgery on that injured hand. Hopefully he got a metal hand. Come back next season. He's gonna have trouble. He's gonna have trouble. He had his chance this year. I won't say he blew it. He had the injury, that hampered him. Hopefully the injury was the root cause. But Steelers fan, Martavis Bryant's coming back. Sammy Coates has to earn his way back onto the field now.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Yeah.
And last little bit of news, Bell is looking for, I think, a third opinion now on whether or not he should get surgery on that groin that he tore up during the season, and also
the one that's been bothering him for weeks. He wasn't on the injury report. That injury
may cost
shut
may cost
the
you a
hell
draft pick.
up. No, you got Bell. Shut the hell up. You might have just cost us a draft pick.
No. Tomlin might have cost you a draft pick. Tomlin put him on the injury report as questionable.
So that's the last bit of news. Steelers fans are holding our breath to see if it is going to cost us a draft pick this year. We'll see how that goes. Mark, what is going on?
We are now going to recap and say what we think we need to fix about our team, since none of our teams were playing in the Super Bowl. So Bengals, first fix the O-line, especially the fourth quarter O-line. I mean, we were in games we could not protect Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton had a great season. If we keep him upright, he can get the job done. The Baltimore game, tip ball, sack. I mean, you can't have series like that, when you're in a one-score game. And it's essentially the same offensive line that we had in 2015 that was great, minus Andre Smith. So I don't know if it's coaching or scheming, whatever it is, fix the O-line. The personnel's there. Get back to the 2015 team. More consistent on defense. Like I said, our defense did its job against Buffalo. We only gave up 16 points.
That game still
lost the game.
That game still is like
I don't know how we didn't. We hold the Giants in New York to 21 points. We have 4 possessions. 21-20. We have 4 possessions, and we don't get into field goal range. Our defense did its job. Make it more consistent. They need to get back to being a top 10 defense across the board. We've already started. I was going to say get a good kicker. Hopefully Bullock's the guy. We got rid of Nugent. The kicking cost us 3 games. See, so if you just look at those games right there,
Man, it feels good to have a good
we could have
kicker.
been in wild card contention. And then the last thing is the red zone offense. Zampese, I'd like to get rid of him now. If you're going to give him another year, whatever you did last year didn't work in the red zone. So let's get a little more creative instead of run, pass, field goal.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what I see we need to fix for the Bengals. I don't think we have to do a lot to get back to where we were in 2015.
Your guys' inability to score inside the red zone with the coaching change from offensive coordinators, Hugh Jackson going to Cleveland, you guys promoting Zampese. I'm wondering if there may have been not a lack of terminology knowledge, because as you've said over and over, that same terminology will stay in place. I'm just wondering if it's a coaching style that changed that maybe.
I definitely think it is, and I don't know if it's a combination of the play calling and the offensive line coaching, because like I said, the bulk of the personnel were the same. So it shouldn't have been an issue.
I think that Hugh leaving really kind of showed that Marvin didn't really have much to stand on without Hugh.
Well, one thing
our coaches have been, in Marvin's defense, in Marvin's defense, he's done a great job of assembling coaches, and that's why we keep getting our coaches rated. I mean, think about it. Gruden, playoffs. Zimmer, playoffs. I mean, he's put a good staff together. But we definitely, Zampese was not Hugh. We saw that.
Yeah.
Right.
Two things real quick. Jan, how do you spell Hugh?
H-U-E.
And
He
Mark,
got it right this time, guys.
No, that wasn't me.
Mark, one thing I didn't hear you mention was losing Sanu. And I'm wondering if you guys just didn't have people open to throw to, which generated a couple sacks.
No, I think having Eifert out in the beginning hurt, because that's really the tight end was a safety blanket for him. But Cody Core had a good season. Alec Erickson had a good season. Tyler Boyd. I mean, these guys, we've got the horses in the stable. The bottom line was protection. And but we did. I mean, Marvin Jones is a number 1 on another team, and he was our number 2. Marvin Jones. We definitely missed those guys, but we got guys that stepped up and played. I think the biggest problems we had was the play calling and the O-line. I really do.
All right. So Browns.
All right. So offensive line, wasn't really that bad. We were ranked 16th in the NFL this past year.
Middle of the pack.
Middle of the pack
with all the injuries and all the different starters. I think that's really pretty decent.
That is.
I think our biggest issue is defense. I really think we need to address that secondary and the defensive line. We need another pass rusher. We need a guy that can play shutdown corner, and we need safeties.
And you guys have the cap space to go out there for them.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a ton of cap space.
It's ridiculous.
And you can talk. And with those guys, you can talk possibly us going after a Barry Church or Tony Jefferson from Arizona, guys like that. Brandon Williams, that's a guy that you guys got defensive
I don't want to lose Brandon.
I'm curious as to
we probably will lose Brandon Williams, and that's going to break my heart because I love that guy.
So you think you're going to lose him? You guys don't think you're going to come up
I think that it depends on what we can do. I mean, in Ozzy, I trust. Okay. So for me, it's like
at least another year.
Yeah.
Now
exactly.
it's kind of people are going. He hasn't drafted a Pro Bowler, since Mosley.
6 years.
That's so
that was true. I mean, Mosley was the first round Pro Bowler. That was 3 years ago.
Right. That's the last Pro Bowler he drafted.
And exactly. No, and I mean that's a definite thing that I'm going to be looking forward to in the draft to see where he drafts ended up. But
so if you lose Williams, does defensive line become the priority for you guys? I'm trying to kind of down the line here, but is that the case?
I mean, for me, yes. I think that we definitely need we need linebackers. I think that on defense, we're looking at they're looking at that kid from Alabama right now. He might be the next Alabama.
You can't say that kid from Alabama. There's 20 kids from Alabama.
Sure.
There's been talk on the Bengal subreddit about Foster.
Foster, yeah.
Matter of fact, there was a guy who even put him in a Bengal jersey. Yeah.
So are you done on Browns?
Yeah. No, I was.
Cool.
I was.
I would say there are three main things that the Ravens really need to truly fix. One is to find wide receiver depth because we are a team that desperately needs wide receivers.
Yeah.
With the 16 mil that we've got in cap space right now, I think that it allows us to be able to go after one, but at what price? Two is that we need to figure out what the fuck our identity is on offense and defense because we were so inconsistent this year.
Yeah.
It was up and down and I honestly Marty Morningweg's going to stay in his OC as of right now. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like his play calling. I think he plays safe and not to win, and I'm a play to win guy. But
that's a personnel thing.
Though. That is a personnel thing.
And you've shown you're not afraid to change coordinators mid-season.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's also part of the issue is that we change coordinators in the middle of the season.
Well, it worked for you once,
and now everybody's like, "Oh, it'll work for
again." Changing mid-season unless you already have the reload in the chamber.
I completely agree. I'm also Dean Pease did show up a little bit towards the tail end, but honestly, I think that I just don't know what our identity is on. We're supposed to be a run team, and we didn't run. We're supposed to be this high-powered offense, and yet at the end of the season, towards the end of the season, we picked up and then kind of faltered back off a little bit. So those are two of the things. The third thing is that I think that the team as a whole needs to just have just solidify everything around it. It feels like we're grasping at things that might work to try and pull everything together. We've got a lot of great players. We've got a lot of great fucking players.
Hodgepodge of players.
Yeah,
great
exactly.
players, but it's a hodgepodge that you haven't been able to.
And I think that
it's.
I don't know if I think last year the lesson for us was that last year was a very plug and play year.
Right.
So for me, we need to. It's really identity. It's really what is our identity?
Carryover effect from the year before with all the injuries they had.
Yeah.
You had to figure out what you had
absolutely.
going on, so it was a
absolutely. And we had players that showed up last year and this year didn't do anything. And we had players this year that, Tavon Young, amazing, huge effort, completely out of nowhere, was really surprised. And then you get your first round draft pick, Matt Elam, who's now on special teams.
Right.
And he does well there, but we're trying to.
You don't spend first rounders for special teams guys.
Exactly. All right.
James Harrison.
What about James Harrison?
Yeah, what about James Harrison?
Free agent, re-signing the cat. What's going on there?
Yeah.
So the former kitty of the city is a must-have for us right now. We just really have a hole there at the outside linebacker place. So it is a night and day difference from before and after defensive changes were made to where Jarvis Jones came off the field, Harrison comes on. Night and day difference on run defense, night and day difference on pass defense. I think the writing's on the wall that Jarvis Jones is going to have to, find another job. He's going to be out there with Justin Gilbert doing whatever they do. I think that's going to be a huge focus for us. Now the thing is, Harrison can't play forever. So Anthony Chickillo did show me some good things this season at that outside linebacker, edge rusher position. I'd like to see him next season, see how well he progressed. I think he did. He had a really good improvement from last year to this season, so I'm thinking if he can keep that going to next season, much better. You guys have touched on some of the things that are going on in Reddit. One of the more interesting things I saw on the Steelers sub in Reddit is just how pumped people are about Martavis Bryant coming back. I think I saw he put on 20-something pounds of muscle with that frame, that speed, and those hands. He could be dangerous. He's already filed for reinstatement. I'll keep you guys updated on how that goes. So,
Alden Smith, they just said. I mean, he could have come back, during the season.
Yeah.
He was eligible end of October, November. They just said, well, if he behaves and there's no setbacks in March, we'll reinstate him. So there's no telling how long. They can take as long as they want.
Martavis Bryant was smoking weed in his house. Alden Smith, I think, is a whole different case. I mean, he's doing some really wild stuff with all the DUIs and all the extra shit he's doing off the field.
Well, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
I think Smith is a special case. I don't think he can be compared to Martavis Bryant.
I'm with you on there. I mean, it's that is.
My only point was that there's no set rule.
There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee he's going to be there day one next year. The only other thing I'd like to see is kind of a change in the coaching mentality as far as how they play players late in games are out of hand. Okay. We saw this year with Bell tearing up that groin the way he did late in the season. The games he was playing in, specifically the Dolphins game, was way out of hand.
He said, I've been fighting this for weeks. That meant when you guys had him in the game when it was put away.
I
against
rarely
the Dolphins
talk bad about Tomlin, but for Tomlin, you had to have known that he was nursing his injury.
I know, right? I'm cursing all the time.
Do you need some tips? I can give you a lot of tips on how to
I'm sure you guys could. But anyway.
I'm sorry. Are we talking about the same coach that trips players while they're on the field?
Yeah, the one
he saved the touchdown. How many of your coaches have saved the touchdown?
None, because they didn't go on the field and blow fools.
Tomlin did what he had to do. Tomlin did what he had to do.
I know, right?
Fights, they back it away. They get in the returners' faces.
Tom was such a little punk. He's a punk.
Yeah.
He'll whoop Harrison. Harbaugh. He'll whoop Harbaugh.
I will pay good money to see Harrison kick the shit out of Tom.
Yeah, I totally.
All right, let's make it happen, guys. Harrison, Tom.
I want to see a change in how they treat players late in games that are out of hand.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Moving on to the third round, let's talk about the Super
Bowl recap.
Let's do it.
If I recall, a couple weeks ago, somebody said that the Super Bowl wasn't going to be an exciting game. Somebody on the Super Bowl, I don't remember. You have to go back and watch episode 64 and see who it was. But that was one of the best games I've seen in a long time. Unbelievable game. Because it had everything. You hate the Patriots, so you're rooting against them, and they're getting their asses kicked. And then you watch a complete implosion. You start going, well, it'll be the greatest comeback ever in the Super Bowl, and then it just starts happening, and you just kind of get on the train. And I told you guys before that I bet the Patriots, before the playoffs started. So no, my money is my money. I don't worry about it. Money is money, and the team I love is the team I love. So I was, rooting for the Patriots, but it was kind of like, it was one of those Jekyll and Hyde games, and I absolutely loved it. Great game.
It was a great game. He and I got together and watched the game, and it was a very interesting game from just like a play calling on both sides. Like, you're sitting there scratching your head at what the Patriots are doing for the first half of the game. You're scratching your head at what the Falcons are doing for the second half of the game.
But the hoodie is a genius. He made the adjustments that he needed to make. They turned the game, and then so many things had to go right for the Patriots for that to happen. I actually was watching it at a viewing party after a golf tournament, but when I got home, I wound the game. I fast forward up to the point where there was 6 minutes left in the third quarter, and they were up 25. And I started it there, and I said, okay, how did this game go sideways for them? And so many things had to happen, and Atlanta was a culprit in the whole thing.
Atlanta completely just rolled over.
Play calling, Ryan taking the sack, the holding penalty. I mean, there's just a whole chain of events. If any one of those things doesn't happen, the Patriots don't win the game.
Yeah. It was almost like they went and played Schottenheimer ball. Bend, but don't break, and
they broke. There was on the Bengals subreddit. There was a topic of was Marvin Lewis calling the plays in the second half for Atlanta. So actually, it wouldn't be Marvin Lewis you would be blaming. It would be Zampese that would be calling the plays for the Falcons. But no, that was all Shanahan on his own. But it's just even when they got to it was 8 points. And the Julio Jones made that amazing catch with his broken toe, okay? And that's the catch everybody's talking about if it's because Edelman's catch wouldn't have happened. But that's the catch.
That Edelman catch
was unbelievable.
Like, I argued with people all day on Monday, all day on whether or not that. Like I had so many people saying, "I don't think that was a catch."
Oh no, it was absolutely a catch.
That was a catch, guys.
But there's 4 minutes left in the game. They're at the 22-yard line. They have a 1st and 10. Yeah. They run the ball on the first down, okay, get 1 yard. Then Matt Ryan drops back. Now the play call I don't agree with, but Matt Ryan has an opportunity to get rid of the ball. He doesn't.
Yeah,
takes the sack. Even if it was intentional groundings, would have been spotted the foul, lost it down. They would have kicked the field goal from about the 30-yard line. So they're a 47-yarder. Instead, he takes the staff back at the 37. They run another play, holding penalty. Now they're punting. It's a one-score game. You just gave the Patriots the ball.
Yep.
I mean, it's a whole series. It's play calling. It's execution. It's everything. And Mac, who was hurt. I mean, that was
played his fucking heart out. And I'll say, Gabriel. Gabriel had like a really interesting game, and it was really interesting to see him like mess with the Patriot DBs a little bit.
Right.
Like you saw that more in the right in the third quarter. Like he like juked right towards I forget who the DB was, but he freaked out the DB, and then he kept running catch.
Where he did the spin move or whatever it was.
No, it wasn't even a spin move. He like
off this way
went there, came back, wrapped, and built. Oh my god, it was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
For the record,
he fell.
He fell on his own.
So it's
for the record, the Browns are not the only team in the NFL that lets players go. For the record, just letting you know.
No, I don't.
So, and the Edelman catch, that's right up there with the David Tyree catch. I mean, the game was just so exciting. I just really enjoyed
Thoroughly
it.
I'm sure Tyree was like, that's what it felt like. Yeah,
that's exactly. And he was still, they had the Sports Center top 10. And it was funny, they were running through them, and some of the older plays would not be catches. There was a catch, I can't remember who it was, but there was one of the older Super Bowls. There was a catch where the guy did a somersault, rolled, and set the ball on the ground. That would not have been a catch in today's game.
Yeah.
But it was a
catch now.
But they had Edelman number 2 and Tyree 1. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anybody else got any thoughts on the Super Bowl? I pretty much said.
Oh, yeah. I
Go for it.
Well, before I do, I'm kind of going delirious. This is like our 5th take now. Before I do, please let me say happy birthday to my baby sister, Erica. She's
happy birthday, Erica.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, very proud of that. So what I want to talk about is 3 guys or 3 sets of people I would not want to be following this game. Number 1 is the entire Falcons defensive secondary.
Yeah.
No.
The entire secondary. I would not want to be those guys. You played a textbook game against the Patriots for 3.5 quarters and then just
give up.
Pillaging in that 4th quarter. I would not want to be Devontae Freeman.
No.
He totally whiffed on that sack fumble.
Yep.
And that led to a chain of events that led to the Falcons not having the Super Bowl ring. Had he not whiffed, had Matty just taken a knee, had so many things happen like Marc said, we would be a lot happier on this couch about the Super Bowl
If you go, I'm happy about the Super Bowl. I'm not a Falcon fan. And you found, JD found an amazing picture on Reddit with a guy who was bearing a Falcons jersey with a whole note talking about how the jersey's hexed. If you dig this up, you really haven't found anything special. But then we were joking around that he put it in a Ziploc. So there really is a lack of commitment. Yeah,
that sounds like the thing you might like actually dig up later.
And I wanted to know where it was because I go dig it up because I know if it's truly hexed, there are Saints and Panthers and Buccaneer fans who would love that for the voodoo potential.
I was going to say voodoo dog.
But that's like slitting your wrist with a butter knife, you know? It's the lack of commitment, putting it in a Ziploc.
Third person I would not want to be right now. And I feel bad because he has such an amazing season as a head coach. Dan Quinn.
Dude, he had a great season as
a head coach. But if you remember, Dan Quinn was part of that.
I don't know if I can put this, like, I don't want to be him, but I don't think I can put this on.
Well, think about this. Literally,
he's now the 49ers.
Literally twice now, in the past few seasons, he was one play away from beating the Patriots in a Super Bowl. Happened to him twice now. So the dumbest play ever with the Seahawks, passing the ball, picked off.
But he was defensive coordinator.
He was defensive coordinator.
I get it.
It wasn't his field.
As a defensive coordinator, coming into this game now, you're like, I remember these guys. I want to beat these guys because of what happened last time. And you lose pretty much the same way.
Yeah.
So and the decline of the Falcons has already started because they announced today that Sarkisian is going to be their new offensive coordinator. So get the Jim Beam bottle in the booth up there. What you need to do.
Sorry, Griffin.
We probably should.
We're gonna wrap this up. I want to throw out some dates. Just some important dates here coming up on the calendar. 28th through March 6th is the Combine. March 1st is the deadline to designate players for franchise or transition players, and on March 9th, free agency begins. So
and we're going to be
forward.
and we're going to come back right before the combine. And then again after
free agency starts.
Exactly. And we'll talk about all the things that we saw there, what we liked, what we didn't. Feel free, again, always send us your questions. We didn't have time. We knew we were going to recap a bunch of things tonight. So please send us your questions right here, AFCNortherners@gmail.com.
There it is.
You can also hit us up on Twitter @AFCNortherners, Facebook as well. We're going to be doing a Reddit mailbag for the next episode before the Combine. And also, if you're feeling frugal and you want to help us out to get better equipment that doesn't shut down.
If you watch us on Facebook Live, please, Patreon, we need you.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
So feel free to donate to our Patreon. That's right here too. It's patreon.com/AFC Northerners. We are desperately in need of some better equipment. Other than that, guys, anything else?
No.
All right, so we're going to sign off this bad boy as we always do with Fuck the Patriots.
Although, congratulations, New England, and thank you.
I can't even say that.
I can't even say that.
No. I can't.
I'm going to say right here.
Go Browns.
There you go.
Bye, Ravens. All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
First round pick from Florida. How about this? Helmets are stuck between Martellus Bennett and Dwight Freeney. And all the while, the clock's running.
The guy told me, someone stole my game jersey. I know. Well, we gotta look online.
Hey, fellow Northerners, we love the show. We want to make it even better.
You may have noticed we started showing game clips, and we have even more planned for you guys. So we need your help. We started a Patreon page to bring you our show commercial free for less than $5 a month.
For less than the price of a Grey Barbarian Knit Octopus beanie on Amazon, which is actually a thing, you should look that up, you can help make this show even better, including instant reactions to each game, a weekly podcast, in-depth analysis, and much more.
If you want to help us improve and you can spare a little change, go to patreon.com/AFC Northerners or click in the link below in the show notes to subscribe.
Exactly. We appreciate every one of your views, your comments, and your emails. Thanks for watching, and as always,
fuck the Patriots!
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Look at me! I'm Dr. Zoidberg!